This is a simple phrase. I'll put more into this country than I take out of it. What do we mean? Let's take a closer look at that. What are we telling people when we say that? It's not just about the gun range thing or some campsite ethos. It's not about conservation or any of that shit, although those things are important. It's about the kind of mindset that is constantly looking to improve their position and the positions of those around them.
Yeah,
right?
It's to give more than you take.
Yeah, and it's
to take
drive.
only what you need.
Yeah. Take what you need and replace, like replacing your divot on a golf course, or
Yeah.
not overfishing, not over hunting. It is conservation, but socially speaking.
Social conservation.
Yeah. How are we taking care of people's souls?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like,
and it's that drive and innovation that keeps society progressing, and combined with empathy, it's one of the most important factors in society. It turns empathy into a sport almost, like a source of pride.
And this is more of a mindset of, not doing something because you want a tax write-off, not doing something because, it's going to make you look good to the community. It's just about doing something that nobody knows about.
Right.
Because it's the goodness of your heart.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Yeah, it is.
This is doing something without recognition. This is doing something without something that serves you other than the fact that you know you did it yourself.
Right. And it's the concept, since it's not about necessarily just conservation, the thing that's truly profound about that, about leave the room better than you found it, or I'll put more into the country than I take out of it, or whatever, however you want to phrase it, the thing that's truly remarkable about it is that it recognizes two critical things. One is that we all have a responsibility to be good stewards of our environment, our country, our relationships, those around us, whatever we're involved in, anything that we benefit from, whether it's society or our local community or our family or our friend groups or our tribe, if it's military or whatever the fuck it is. You have a responsibility to those things, to be a good steward of those things, to make sure they're taken care of to the best of your ability. And you also have the responsibility to let those things take care of you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like being part of a tribe means your burdens are no longer your own, just as the tribe's problems are now yours. If you don't start giving and asking for help, then all of this was for nothing. And all of human society was for nothing. The muscle of the community, that muscle of the community, and empathy at large will atrophy, and will just become another failed state in the history books.
And let me throw this back to you. I think that the rise of people on welfare is because we're not doing our part. When the government has to come in and take care of the people like that, we should be able to do that with our communities.
Yeah, that should be an embarrassment. If you're a local community and you have to reach outside, now sometimes it's obviously necessary, and communities have trouble just like people do. Sometimes everybody needs a little bit of help. But if over the past 50 years you're one of those areas that have never been able to figure it out, that is a failure. Not just of yours, but of ours collectively.
Absolutely.
And it's embarrassing. I mean, imagine. To me, this is what it feels like. And I think if people think of it this way, then it might change the way they handle their business. It's like somebody comes over that you don't know, right? And your kids don't have what they need, and they get your kids what they need, even though you had the opportunity and ability to do it.
Yeah.
That you should feel like a piece of shit. If somebody's having to fucking clean up after you because you're not pulling your part, you should feel like a piece of shit. And it truly is like another man coming into your home and setting things straight when you couldn't. That should deeply embarrass you.
100%.
That should make you feel horrible. And if it doesn't, then you're fucked. But if it does, then you should think about applying it to your country.
And if you justify it, if you justify not doing something for someone else because of how they're living their life, then your judgment has got in the way.
Nobody needs that. That doesn't help. Like that's one of our problems right now. A guy named Tim something or other, I can't remember his name. Tim Wise, I think he writes. He's a kind of a douchebag, but one of the things he wrote in a book called Between Barack and a Hard Place is that he tells this anecdote about how when he lived in Louisiana, one of the roommates in this big house had made gumbo, and he was like, "Well, I don't want any, so you guys enjoy that or whatever." And people ate it for over the next day or so. Then they just left it there for like 3-4 days. It started to smell. Finally, he came downstairs and he's like, "Hey, you gonna clean this up?" He's like, "Oh no, I didn't make it. He did." And he's like, at some point, We have to acknowledge that there's a fucking problem, and that regardless of who's responsible for it, it's got to get cleaned up.
Yeah.
Or it will never get cleaned up. Right? The smell will continue. We'll eventually all get meningitis and die.
Yeah, but
right?
at the end of the day, if you ate it, if you participated in it, in any piece of it,
Yep.
you do your part.
You certainly do your part, but even if you didn't and you come upon the situation and you're able to fix it, you are duty bound to do so.
Yeah.
So the second thing that this phrase recognizes, it acknowledges that things break down over time and need maintenance, right? Which is that's a very smart thing. If we want to truly live in the best country in the world, we damn sure better work hard at making it the best country. There's no end state here.
No.
Like, as long as you're alive, you should be working to make this a better country.
Yeah,
and before you die, like you said, you want to die with dignity, with all your fucking boxes checked.
There's no fucking finish line. The
No.
finish line's when you see the white light.